Today's topic will be about sleep. So if you have trouble sleeping, if you have insomnia, if you wake up multiple times at night, or you wake up feeling like you haven't slept all night, let me know. And if I haven't addressed some of your concerns, you can always ping me, contact me, and we can talk. And because everybody's different, so we all react to stress and food differently. But I do want to cover the importance of sleep because last time I talked about insulin resistance and how that can be a root cause for weight gain. Cortisol is a stress hormone that also affects the sensitivity to insulin. Because of that, you want to lower stress as much as possible, and you want to get a good quality sleep consistently. Because when you don't sleep well, your cortisol level will go up. And that's why some people could diet, could exercise, could do all the right things, but they're not sleeping well and they will have trouble losing weight because, again, the fat also contains the toxins. If the liver is not able to clean out your body during the night, toxins get built up, and the fat cells are there to kind of hold on to the toxins, so it protects it from the organs and from getting released into the bloodstream. So think about another analogy would be, let's say you sleep, you go to bed, and at night there's a secret cleanup crew that cleans up your kitchen. And you wake up and you go down and you see your kitchen, it's spick and span, and it's wonderful. And you can start your day over, go to bed, and again, it gets cleaned. And that's similar to what happens to your cells at night. There's healing and regeneration. And during the day, there's a lot of degeneration. So there's that formula going on with your cells all the time. They get regenerated and they get degenerated. They get created and they die as well. And so your body's constantly renewing. It's such a fluid, magical entity. But when it degenerates, that's garbage, right? There's, dead blood cells, dead cancer cells, all kinds of, debris. And that is called metabolic waste. And it has to be taken away. So in the nighttime, when you're not sleeping well, it actually gets built up. Your liver hasn't had the time to actually do its job. So getting a good 7 to 8 hours every night would be really beneficial to lowering your cortisol level and lowering inflammation as well as toxins in the body. And when you do get a good night's sleep, you're going to notice you have more brain clarity. It also affects your blood pressure in a positive way. It will lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol. And there's so many benefits to getting a good night's sleep. And it could also help with your metabolism. So then you can lose weight easier through eating certain foods and losing the stubborn belly fat. But if you have trouble sleeping, I would like you to look into the underlying reasons as to why you're having trouble sleeping, rather than going to get a sleeping pill or, getting something for anxiety, to really look at whether you have nutritional deficiencies or if you have any stressors that you can remove from your everyday life. So let's say the obvious stressors could be physical. So physical pain, if you have back pain, toothaches, if you have trouble breathing, all of those things obviously will keep you up at night. But all of that aside, if you were feeling normal, you didn't have pains, you didn't have joint pains, and you couldn't sleep, well, then there's a list of reasons why. One of them could be chronic stress. So your body is already used to being stressed, that it depletes itself of minerals. And one of the key minerals is magnesium that it uses up. And if you don't have enough magnesium in your body, it could cause your muscles to become tense. So things like restless legs, tension in the body, you can't seem to relax. Even the heart is affected by magnesium. People with low magnesium are at risk for heart attacks. And so magnesium is a very, very crucial mineral to add to your diet. And it's actually very safe to add, because if you eat too much or take too much of magnesium supplements, you would get diarrhea, you would get loose stools. It's kind of a laxative, and that would be your indication that you went a little bit above the normal tolerance. But it doesn't really have bad side effects really compared to sleeping pills. So you may want to add magnesium into your diet. It could be 500 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams. And there's also sprays that you can buy that has magnesium in it, where you can spray on your skin, on your legs, just before going to bed and help you relax. One thing I wanted to mention is that there's been studies that shows that most Americans, 80% or more of North Americans, are deficient in magnesium. And the reason is because the soil that we grow our plants, that we grow our vegetables, also have very little magnesium in it. And it's because the fertilizer that's being used by these companies that are not growing foods organically, they don't use the normal composting methods. Instead, they use synthetic fertilizer, liquid fertilizer. They use nitrogen, phosphorus, and a third element. I don't remember what it is, but it's basically 3 chemicals, and magnesium is not one of them, because magnesium doesn't help a plant grow faster. So what they really want, these companies, is they're interested in lowering costs and maximizing profit, right? They're really interested in making money. So when they plant all of these vegetables, they just want to boost growth. They don't really care about the nutrient value. And that's why when you look at the soil, the topsoil has been thinned out throughout the years, and there's less and less minerals. And so even if we're eating what we consider to be healthy, very often with our stressful diet, lack of sleep, we could be getting mineral deficiencies. And, there's a lot of people that do have that issue. So you may want to look at that first. Also, if you have too much caffeine, of course, that can impede your ability to sleep, especially if you drink coffee later during the day. So just go for 1 or 2, but, maybe before 3 p.m., depending on your tolerance for caffeine. Maybe even try avoiding caffeine altogether. Also, if you have low melatonin and low serotonin, as well as low progesterone, so all of these calming hormones, if you're low in any one of them, that could affect your sleep. And a lot of that has to do with your body's ability to absorb certain amino acids, like tryptophan, for example. It comes in protein, comes in red meat, chicken, eggs, dairy products, and all sorts of like tofu, legumes. There's tryptophan in it too. You probably heard of turkey being like one of the top of mind proteins that have tryptophan. Gets you kind of tired and sleepy. You might have heard of people boiling some milk before going to bed. It could calm them down. And it's really to activate the tryptophan in that protein. And so for some people who don't have a healthy gut bacteria, that could be a problem of converting tryptophan into melatonin. So again, going back to gut health, it's very, very important to have good quality sleep. It contributes directly. So if your gut bacteria isn't balanced well, if you have inflammation in your gut, I'm sure you've experienced times where you've got bloating, indigestion, and you just can't sleep well. So it's very kind of like an anxious feeling. So yeah, that in that case, I would definitely recommend probiotics, getting some fermented foods. I wrote a blog about this where I tried drinking kefir or kefir. It's like a fermented milk. It's got lots of probiotics in there, and how it completely changed my sleep quality. And sometimes you don't even realize what a good night's sleep can do to you until you get one, and you're like, oh my god, this is how it feels to be me, to be normal again. I mean, you've just been so used to not sleeping well. So it's worth balancing your gut bacteria, and also look into your thyroid health. Could be the thyroid hormones could also affect your sleep. Low blood sugar, depending on how your insulin is reacting. You can have high or low blood sugar that could affect your sleep. Sometimes people wake up and they need a snack. That's kind of that agitation. And also exposure to blue light. So our use of tablets, of screens, watching TV just before going to bed, or looking at the computer or our phone, that could also affect our melatonin level, because the melatonin is signaled when it starts to get dark. And so you want to, maybe an hour before going to bed, shut the devices, maybe read a book with like very dim light, or take deep breaths, do some stretches. You may want to take a bath. A great bath product to put in is Epsom salts. So you can put that, and that has magnesium as well. Just relax your muscles. You can add some baking soda into your bath water to cleanse. When it's time to sleep, it's important to be in a dark room, because you really need to have blackout blinds, like complete black. Sometimes you can get one of those eye masks that cover your eyes. And you should also, if it's noisy around you, have like earplugs, just to make sure that you protect your space so you can sleep better. You may want to put some lavender essential oil into a diffuser to calm the mind. And then the last reason I want to talk about is things like sleep apnea or snoring. that could cause you to wake up several times at night. And one thing you may want to try to perhaps, get rid of this condition is to do some food elimination, because there are certain foods such as dairy, milk especially, that could cause inflammation in the throat, phlegm in lungs. And because of that reaction over time, your airways get a little bit narrow, and then you can start to snore. Even in the nasal canal, there could be a lot more buildup of mucus and thickening of the lining, and so you could just have trouble breathing at night. So you want to look into that. Maybe cut out dairy for a couple of weeks, cut out gluten if that's another area that might be causing some sensitivity and inflammation. So those are my tips to possibly root out some causes for having trouble sleeping and having insomnia. In terms of supplements, again, I really want to talk about magnesium and taurine. Taurine is great for calming the mind. Some people like to take melatonin, but I personally, I would say do it in just for a few days. Like if you have jet lag, if you have a reason, like if you're very stressed, but don't use it as a chronic kind of supplement, because over time your body will be so used to you taking melatonin that it won't build itself the melatonin that it needs. It's going to be dependent on it, not addictive, but more that it won't be producing as much. Okay, so it's going to feel like it's saturated, so it won't build as much of it. In terms of other supplements, I would definitely recommend adaptogens to help you with stress. So the first one is rhodiola. It's rhodiola, rhodiola. You can find it at health food stores. Sometimes it's combined with B complex vitamins, and it helps with calming the mind. There's Kava, Kava. There's valerian. So you'll see these products in some teas, some teas that are like for nighttime, for calming. And so you could look into that. If you have any questions, please let me know. Obviously, I am very much about, rebuilding your gut health as a number one priority, because if you don't have gut health, then you won't be able to break down these types of building blocks to make the melatonin, right? To make the right hormones and to really boost your overall health. There are some sleep experts that help people. They will go deep into the reasons why you're having trouble sleeping. And one reason could be related to parasites. Again, it's going back to the gut bacteria. And if you do have parasites and issues in the gut, it's going to disrupt your sleep. You can have drooling, nightmares, walking in your sleep. There's talking in your sleep. So that would be another video that I could do another time. But I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Thank you.